In the previous lesson, we learned about LangChain, an amazing technology that's a game changer for building AI applications. In this lesson, we'll build our Analyze Image feature, and we'll learn about another awesome AI technology, the Replicate API. Replicate is an API that lets you incorporate models into your applications without having to understand the intricacies of machine learning. It's perfect for those of us who don't know how to manage the infrastructure that's required for building a model, but who want to take advantage of these amazing models that are being built by data scientists and engineers. You can explore all the different open source models that are available to use. The beauty of this tool is that once you become familiar with the Replicate API, it's easy to try out all these different models. The Replicate interface to use each of them is basically the same across all the models. You'll need to sign up to use the API and get an API key for our project. Replicate offers plenty of free credits to start, so you won't need to pay anything to build this feature. The model I've chosen to use for our Analyze Image feature is called MiniGPT. It's a model that was trained specifically for analyzing images in a similar way that ChatGPT can have a conversation about text. We can give the model an image and then have a conversation with the model about that image. It can answer our questions about the image, or it can tell us a story about the image. Replicate has a user-friendly UI where we can add an image and ask questions through the interface, kind of like ChatGPT. I recommend trying it out with MiniGPT and some of the other models available. Let's start by installing Replicate in our project. We'll be using their Node.js client. We'll also add our API key to the .env file. The UI for the front end consists of an input to add an image URL and a chat window where the conversation will take place. Here's the image input section. Notice that we use vModel to bind it to an image URL state property in the image chat store. The chat window to chat about the image is almost the same logic used for the audio chat window. The user can add an image URL, and that URL, along with the question they enter about the image, will be included in the prompt as part of the request to the MiniGPT model. The create prompt action will build the prompt. This time, we won't be sending higher level instructions. We just need to send the image in the question. MiniGPT doesn't need higher level instructions because it already understands its purpose, to analyze images. Now we'll look more closely at how to implement Replicate to handle the request. In the server, we'll add the configuration for Replicate. We'll create a variable to define which model we want to use from Replicate. This long string is the identifier for the MiniGPT model. Here's our logic to make Replicate run the MiniGPT model. The run method is from the Replicate API. It runs the model. All models accessed with the Replicate API can be run using the replicate.run method. Because MiniGPT expects an image, one of the input properties will be named image. The value of this property will be the image URL string. The model also expects the prompt. We don't need to send in higher level instructions like we did with OpenAI, since this model is already trained to do exactly what we want it to do, have a conversation about an image we give it. So the prompt we send in will be the question asked by the user. Now we can test it out and see how it does. Wow, it's really impressive. The MiniGPT model is as good at analyzing images as ChatGPT is at analyzing text. It just goes to show that there's a world beyond OpenAI. And it would be worth it to us as developers to try out some of these other specialized models in our apps. In this lesson, we got to try out the Replicate API, an API that opens the world up to us because of all the open source models it makes available. Once you become comfortable using Replicate, you'll be able to build tons of interesting AI projects. The one thing we didn't do in this lesson is use LangChain with our Analyze Image feature. In the last lesson of this course, I'll show you how to get set up with LangChain and Replicate. These two AI technologies combined will give you the power to build whatever you can imagine with AI.